Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is January the 13th, 2022. Our 5 o'clock, time for our monthly Natchitoches Parish School Board meeting. If you have any type of phone devices, to make sure that our decorum is followed, and we would ask that you silence those phones. Also, we are under mandate for us to keep our masks on. Please put your mask on while you're in our meeting. Secondly, if you are going to speak to any agenda item, there's paper back on the back, and you can send it toward us so that we can recognize you on any agenda item, and that agenda item is 3 minutes that you can speak on that. And so our invocation is going to come from Ms. Tankia Palmer, and our Pledge of Allegiance is going to come from Ms. Rhonda Gidrow. Would you stand please?
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We ask that you look over this meeting. We ask that you come in the room, show your presence, let us feel your presence, that we be on one accord, and we make decisions that will benefit the children of this parish, our employees, Lord. And we thank you for everything that you have done for Natchitoches Parish School Board, the school system, and we thank you in advance for the things, the great things that you are going to continue to do for us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Face the flag has been moved again. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated. We will establish a quorum. Reynolds.
Mr. Daniels.
Here.
Mr. McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Benefield.
Here.
Mr. Garner.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Mrs. Gidrow. Here. Mrs. Broadwell. Here. Mrs. Gaskin. Here. Ms. Palmer.
Here.
Ms. Phelps. And Ms. Bell. We have a quorum.
That's not part of the agenda. Okay, we'll establish a quorum. All right. We will ask that
Mr. President, we have disruption in the back. People are not putting their masks on. I think we should discontinue the meeting for that.
yes, we can discontinue the meeting until that we have everyone with their mask on, please. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being so kind.
Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of noise.
We'll establish a quorum. Our Superintendent Report, please.
We have no updates from Tuesday's Superintendent Report.
Old business.
Can you speak up, please?
Policy.
It's hard to hear back here.
Okay.
There's no updates from Tuesday's Superintendent Report.
Okay. Old business, we've discussed that, and so any other?
No, we just, before February's meeting, we need to come together at committee setting and discuss the particulars of policy DJE.
Okay. New business, election of new school board president. We're open now for nomination for president.
I nominate Rita Phelps for president.
Second.
Right? Any other nominations?
I move nomination cease.
Right. It's been moved that the nomination cease. Ms. Reba Phelps has been elected because there's no one else that's running against anybody.
By acclamation.
By affirmation.
By acclamation.
Right, by affirmation. Nomination for vice president.
I nominate Mrs. Beverly Broadway.
Second? Oh, wait.
Any other nominations?
See,
I move nomination cease.
Second.
All right. Nomination has ceased, and by affirmation, Ms. Beverly is our vice president. Come sit over here.
Congratulations.
Reverend Harris, point of personal privilege. I would be remiss if we didn't take this time to also discuss that we have had an extremely successful past year, and that is in no small part due to your leadership on the board and your guidance as president through some of the worst times that our nation has seen in public schools, with obviously the pandemic, and you've been a part of some major things, whether it be Dr. Pope and her policy moves that we're going to be making, or pushing for the football field at Lakeview, amid many other things. So I'd just like to take a moment to recognize your year as president on the board.
I want to thank my fellow board members for allowing me to serve them, because at the end of the day, we have a blessed board, diverse. They all have their own opinions, and they are intelligent, and I thank God for them. And so I also want to apologize for last Tuesday. Yes, I'm a pastor, I'm a man of God, but I'm human too, and sometimes I'm not as polished. I preach Jesus high and lifted up, but I do funerals every now and then too. So, I want to apologize first of all to my constituents, but I want to apologize to you as people who are concerned and care about our district. Those who are here tonight, you're here because you're concerned. And thank you for being here. We want these rooms to be full when there are things that we're concerned about. But let me encourage you to do this for me. When there is a concern that you have, reach out to your board members so they can show you how to speak on whatever issues that you're having, okay? And they'll show you and walk you through what you need to do, all right? With that being said, we have looked at the consent agenda, hopefully perused it, and I'd like to get an offer. Okay, been offered by Mr. McGuire and second by Ms. Broadway. Any questions, any comments? All those in favor, aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. We're going to now, we've basically gone through our informational reports.
And staff has no updates to informational reports.
Except for F.
If
And there is one. There's a tax commission report that was not attached at Tuesday's meeting. Do y'all see it? It's item F.
Yes.
that's right, do you want to come and address that?
Still pulling mine up. Okay. Actually, kind of go all the way down to the bottom, the last page. having a hard time downloading. Looks like it's still downloading.
Yeah, we're
Same way with you.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time on myself.
I'm just noticing. You got it there.
Last page, yeah, okay, go back up to the previous page. This is your cumulative report as of December. Because we've delayed our meetings to the second week, I'm actually able to give you the January report, which I normally would not be able to give you until February. But this is the latest. We are sustaining still a cumulative of a 16% growth. 16.3% growth. That's the cumulative report. That's also, I think that's very good. Of course, you know, it was higher, but once again, last year at this time it was really high. It's always going to be harder and harder to keep the same high percentage. But I'm still very happy about a 16% growth.
And if you recall,
It's an almost a $1.5 million increase over last year's collection at this time.
and Mr. Walscombe, if you'll remind, you budgeted only a 10% increase. to
That's
the
right.
reserve.
We only budgeted a 10% increase, so I'm going to be bringing to you guys probably by next month or by March at the latest an update to see where we're at. Okay? And that's it. That's the only update
All
on
right,
this.
thank you so very much. Mr. Dan?
Excuse me, may I interject for a minute before we move on?
Yes.
And this is in regards to personnel. There was a concern voiced to me, and I have to pass the information on.
I think, let's wait till we get to 8.
Okay.
Items 7A, permission to advertise for bids for asbestos removal and demolition at Cooksville Elementary School.
With the addendum of the contents, the movable contents also being declared surplus.
Right. We straight on that?
Yes, it should be listed on there.
Okay, yes.
So,
Make a motion.
all right, the
I'll
motion
offer.
is
I'll second.
been offered by Ms. Broadway and seconded by Ms. Kidros.
I got one question. I was asked if somebody, before we would demolish, tear down, if community people would come and wanted the building, would be considered. And I told them, yeah, we would. You know, if we considered, if they wanted to buy it and had the money to do it or whatever, we wouldn't tear it down if they wanted to remodel it. But
Yeah, I
yeah, that'd
think
be
we were
something.
willing to donate it. The question is, there was no,
Nobody, that's what I told them, there was
No.
nobody to do it. But if we had somebody that wanted to take it up, we wouldn't mind doing it. But
The reason
we're going
my-
on this project now because we need to move forward if nobody comes, and then, you know, we have to move forward with it.
the reason my instincts are to kind of just donate it to somebody who would be, is because it needs at least $300,000 worth of work,
Right.
just to occupy it. And so my thought was, is it's gonna cost us at least that to tear it down. So that'd be better. I mean, it would save us a lot of money.
Would that organization have to be a 501c3?
No, it just
organization?
has to be an organization y'all agree with. I would say, to donate in like kind, I think the law, it would have to be a non-profit organization.
It would have to have a
We just
nonprofit.
can't donate to a private organization.
Yeah.
We would have to donate it to a
A
nonprofit.
nonprofit organization or a nonprofit with a 501c3 status.
I don't think the 501c3 is critical. Like a chamber of
Okay,
commerce
cool.
is not 501c3. It's actually a 501c6, and
Okay.
an organization like that would be
But
fine.
it's still, okay, cool.
If we do this, we need to put an end date out there. We'll be talking about this in November.
Yeah.
That group needs to come
It is a
forward
desperate
with
need.
cash, with cash in their hands, let's go.
Well,
we
I
like-
told them by the time we do with the bidding and stuff, we probably start demolition this summer. Once it come through and we can do it, that's what I told him, it had to be
He's
by
right.
this summer. That's what
Yeah,
I told the guy what was talking to me. I told him, because I say by the time we advertise for bids for 30 days and then we're okay, we find out, I say, but, you know, at least by June, we'll be ready to start tearing it down. So that's what I told them, they had to come up with something before then. Yeah.
On a side note, we are going to put lights up in the parking lot. Emil has brought to our attention that during the pickup in the mornings, it gets dark. So we're gonna turn lights. The problem is we pulled the meter at the school, so they turned those lights off. We're gonna get all that turned back on. That should happen in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that might be a safety factor.
Yeah, it's just
Like that.
it's a safety.
In the Head Start building on MLK, we were to donate it, to someone interested, it would be with the buildings, just removal of the asbestos? Is that what we said the other day?
No, we were going to donate the building as
As
is,
is.
except there was one building that was in such horrible state. We were going to pay to remove that, and that one building had the bulk of the asbestos in it.
Okay,
But it is actually, the roof is collapsed, it is all rotting and imploding on itself. We were just going to remove all that.
Right, this is a voting item. Let's stay focused on
Okay.
the voting
Okay.
item. And any further questions concerning this particular item? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Gedros?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
yes,
And Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right.
Item 7B, permission to advertise for bids for NCHS culinary commercial kitchen equipment. You've had time to review that, and I'll offer that motion.
Second?
All right, it's been offered by Mr. Danzig, seconded by Ms. Palmer. Any further comments, questions, or concerns? Can we get a roll call?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Gedros?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
yes,
And Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Motion passed.
On the next item, the resolution, did we decide which parts we're gonna read on
I
this?
spoke to Brendan Black, he said just to read the first part underneath the resolution. And
Or the
then,
proposition.
and then maybe tell the crowd about on page 2, the results of the election.
Oh,
He
okay.
said other than that, it's been made available to the public and will stay in the public domain. I guess
Okay.
forever, that you did not have to read the entire document.
Okay, I'll read the resolution. A resolution providing for canvassing the returns and declaring results of special elections held in Consolidated District Number 8, Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, and Consolidated School District Number 10 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, December 11th, 2021, to authorize renewal of special taxes therein. Be it resolved that the Parish Board of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, the governing authority acting as the governing authority of the Consolidated School District Number 8 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, and Consolidated School District Number 10 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, the districts that Section 1, canvass, the governing authority does now proceed in open and public session to examine the official tabulation of votes cast at the special elections held in districts on Saturday, December 11th, 2021, to authorize renewal of special taxes therein pursuant to the following propositions. Consolidated School District Number 8, proposition tax renewal. Shall Consolidated School District Number 8 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, continue to levy a special tax of 7 mills on all property subject to taxation within the district for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2022 and ending the year 2031, an estimated $60,000 reasonably expected at this time to be collected from the levy of the tax for an entire year for the purpose of giving additional aid and support to the public elementary and secondary schools in the district by providing funds for construction, repairs, purchase of equipment and all supplies, and additional improvements. Consolidated School District Number 10, proposition tax renewal. Shall Consolidated School District Number 10 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, continue to levy a special tax of 20 mills on all property subject to taxation within the district for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2022 and ending with the year 2031. An estimated $840,000 reasonably expected at the time to be collected from the levy of the tax for the entire year, and for the purpose of adding additional aid and support to the public elementary and secondary schools in the district by providing funds for construction, repairs, purchase of equipment and or supplies, and additional improvements. This governing authority does further proceed and examine and canvass the returns of the elections thereof. Section 2, election results. According to official certified tabulation of votes cast at said election, there was a total of 131 votes cast in favor for Consolidated School District Number 8 proposition, and total of 57 votes cast against Consolidated School District Number 8 proposition, resulting in a majority of 74 votes cast in favor of Consolidated School District Number 8 proposition. There was a total of 128 votes cast in favor of Consolidated School District Number 10 proposition, a total of 69 votes cast against Consolidated School District Number 10 proposition resulting in the majority of 59 votes cast in favor of Consolidated School District Number 10 proposition. Propositions were therefore duly carried by a majority of the votes cast by the qualified electors voting as electors.
He said you could probably stop there.
Okay.
Right?
Before we vote, Mr. Harris, I hope I speak for the board. I really appreciate, and I think we really appreciate Districts 8 and 10 supporting their schools and the students in this area.
Yes, I'd like to say, I mean, I know that both of those districts are filled with constituents who are very proud of their schools and want to really, they truly value investing in their schools because they know that that gives their children the best opportunity for an excellent education. And so we really thank everybody for coming out and voting in support of it.
That's right, certainly do. It was a great vote. I move that we accept that.
I'll second.
Been motion by Mr. Pezzi, second by Ms. Broadway. Any further discussions or comments or concerns? Roll call vote.
Mr. Dancy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Gedro?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
And Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And was that C and D, or just?
No, D is about the new election.
D is a new election, okay.
This election is renewal of the sales tax that will expire August of 2023.
Hold on, Fortune. It don't have to be read, or do we read that tonight as well, right?
Let's see here.
I think we do.
You do. This
Okay.
is a resolution on a tax
Yeah.
proposition, so you need to.
Notice of special election pursuant to the provisions of a resolution adopted by the Parish School Board of the Parish of Natchez, State of Louisiana, acting as the governing authority of the Parish of Natchez, State of Louisiana. For school purposes, on January 13th, 2022, notice is hereby given that special election will be held within the parish on Saturday, April 30th, 2022, and that at the said election, there will be submitted all registered voters in the parish qualified and entitled to vote at the said election under the Constitution and laws of the State of Louisiana and the Constitution of the United States. The following proposition to wit: parish-wide sales tax renewal proposition, all Natchez Parish schools. Shall the parish school board of the Parish of Natchez, State of Louisiana be authorized to continue to levy and collect a tax of 1%, an estimated $8,229,000, reasonably expected at this time to be collected from the levy of the tax for an entire year in perpetuity from and after the termination of its current authorization on August 1st, 2023, upon the sale at retail, the use, the lease, or rental, the consumption and storage, the use or consumption of the tangible personal property, and on sales of services in the Parish of Natchez, Louisiana, all as defined by law with the proceeds of the tax after paying reasonable and necessary expenses for collecting and administration tax, to be dedicated and budgeted annually in such a manner as to avoid a deficit general fund budget and for the operation, maintenance, and upgrading of public schools in Natchez Parish. Said election will be held at each and every polling place in the Parish of Natchez, which polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. in accordance with provisions of LARS 18541. The polling places and precincts in the parish are hereby designated as polling places at which to hold the said election, and the commissioners in charge and commissioners respectively shall be those persons designated according to law. The estimated cost of this election is determined by the Secretary of State based on provisions of Chapter 8-A of Title 18, and actual cost of similar election is $64,000. The said special election will be held in accordance with the applicable provisions of Chapter 5 and Chapter 6A of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority, and the officers appointed to hold the said election as provided in the notice of special election or such substitutes, therefore may be elected and designated in accordance with LARS 18-1287. Will make returns due returns thereof to accept government authority, and notice is hereby further given that the government authority will meet its regular meeting place, the Parish School Board Office, Boardroom, 310 Royal Street, Natchez, Louisiana, on Thursday, June the 9th, 2022 at 5:00 p.m. and shall then and there in open and public session proceed to examine and canvass the returns and declare the result of said special election. All registered voters of the parish are entitled to vote at said special election, and voting machines will be used. I'll offer that motion.
Second.
All right, it's been offered by Mr. Danzig, second by Ms. Palmer. Any further discussions or comments or concerns? Ms. Reynolds?
Mr. Danzig?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Edros?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
And Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And that concludes finance.
All right, personnel, please. Now, Ms., you can speak now.
Oh, okay. This is just a general concern that I'm making. It comes under personnel. We've been doing such a great job in most of our areas that we address as a board. And I have received some concerns from our constituents in regards to our hiring policies. They're concerned about more diversity and equity in hiring. So I would ask that, we definitely take a look at that and be pay more attention to it and try to act, accordingly. My concern, I've voiced it before, that we have a majority African-American population in the city, and we've added new positions throughout the district, and there's a small number of African-Americans that have gotten those jobs. And my constituents are watching. They are concerned. I'm voicing that concern, that we look at more equity and diversity in hiring in the future. And I know this board is will work towards that. We try to work along towards the best interest of our school district. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much, Ms. Page. All right. Executive?
Yes, so item 9A, LSBA Policy Service, Dr. Eloy.
So, as y'all listened the other day, I believe Dr. Pope gave a pretty detailed presentation and explanation of what their policy service offers. Again, this is not an immediate thing. This would be something that would start within the next few months, but would culminate in July 23. So it's nothing that is very quick and all that, but it's something that I think many of you have expressed a need to address the policy and everything. So I think this is an excellent place to go forward with. It is not only a better service, but it is also a more economical service in terms of the general fund as well. So.
And real time with any Louisiana statute updates.
And I just don't think I could give any more detail that Dr. Pope didn't do in a much better way. So.
Can we get a motion on that?
I'll offer.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Benefield and seconded by Ms. McGaskey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was allowed.
All right. Any further questions, comments, concerns? All right, let's have a roll call vote.
Mr. Danzig?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Edros?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
And Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 9B, GBAA, Compensation Guideline and Overtime Policy. And I believe this falls to Dr. Eloy, or we're going to be...
Hopefully both of these policies, B and C, we're able to review. These are both policy updates from Forethought that just get us in line with recent legislation and laws.
Okay, so are we going to address 9B and C together?
That's
your
call.
choice.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead, we can do them separate, they're listed separate, and then we can...
Yes, ma'am.
I'll offer B.
Second.
Been offered by Mr. Benefield and seconded by Mr. Metoyer. Any comments, any concerns, criticism? All right. Roll call.
Mr. Dancy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Guidroz?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
And Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 9C, retirement policy GBQ. Dr. Eloy.
Again, this just changes some verbiage about how the policy of when employees retire, and it's a policy that virtually the entire state has, again, offered by Fourth Office.
Open.
It's been offered by Mr. Metoyer,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Garner. Any comments, any concerns? Roll call vote.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Garner?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Guidroz?
Yes.
Mrs. Broadway?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
And Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That concludes the executive report.
I move we adjourn.
Second.